A very good afternoon to our beautiful lecturer, Miss Nurlaili binti Muhammad Basri. I'm Vigneshwaran Analikirai Shegran, and my ID number is 1100599670. Today I'm going to present my topic, which is sexual harassment. So my first slide is introduction. So as we know, is sexual harassment is being a common thing which we can hear all over the world, including in our country too. So, sexual harassment is unwelcome sexual behavior that's offensive, humiliating, or intimidating. It can be written, verbal, or physical, and can happen in person or online also. Anybody can experience sexual harassment regardless of their gender. Doesn't matter they are male or female, they can affected by sexual harassment. When it happens at work, for example, at work sector, school, university, or also in any sport complex, sexual harassment may amount to form of discrimination. And then we proceed into my second slides, which is about sexual harassment in variety of circumstances. Sexual harassment comes in many forms and not just a single one, and the harasser can identify with any gender and have any relationship to the victim. Okay, the first point is making conditions of employment or advancement dependent on sexual favors. Okay, in this every points I'm going to give an example. Okay, for the first point is, for example, is like a football coach who is coaching the women's football team, made you as a captain without did any achievements or contribution to the team, but just want to make you feel special. You felt special, and he tried to take the opportunity to ask you to come over his house to make a sexual intentionally with the player. Okay, this is the first point. And then the second point is a physical acts of sexual assault or harassment, which is someone tried to touch, grab, or make other physical contacts with you without your consent. For example, is like an athletic coach, a coach took an advantage by trying to touch the woman athlete's both legs thigh, when he was instructing the ways of warming up the training. So we can see in a lot of the sports happening this kind of uh, behavior from the coach, but we couldn't do anything with that because it's like a training method for the athletes. And then the third point is request for sexual favors, which is like leering and staring continuously. Okay, this means which the harasser displays rude and offensive material so that others can see it. For example, like the sports coach shows the bad performance of the one of the women athletes to her teammates, where she can feel so down and hurt due to this, and who knows that coach will show the inappropriate image of the athlete to others. Okay, usually this matter will happen among the athletes nowadays, where the male athletes took a picture of the women's athlete, but eventually also happens among the coaches also, where they share the pictures and they show how she wear the clothes and so on, like that. And then my fourth point is verbal harassment of a sexual nature, which is including jokes referring to sexual acts or sexual orientation, which is making sexual gestures towards you and cracking sexual jokes or comments towards you. So it's like, for example, coach made a joke of a women's athlete by telling them their body count is too small, and it is not a good type of body count to participate in sports accordingly. And then my fifth point is unwelcome sexual advances, where some of the women athlete became a scapegoat. Okay, it means when they try to enter the primary or secondary school represented, or university or college represented, or also for the state or national level represented. Okay, and and then my sixth point is discussing sexual relations, stories, or fantasies. Okay, it can happen at the any sector, but we are talking in sports. So for example is like a sports coach try to seduce the athlete, women's athlete, by showing them their capability in sports to show themselves as a hero, or shows them some romantic movies or love scenes that can attract the woman to them. And then my seventh point is feeling pressure to engage with someone sexually. And normally we know that humans have five types of sense, which is like sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. But we don't have the automatic sense, like avoiding the sexually minded people unless we are the god, right? So it's really hard to identify who who is the real person with a clean heart, and those who like a devil person with the bad heart. Some people looks like a good face, but in their intention is like a bad. So it's really hurt to accept this, but we have to. And then my eighth point is exposing oneself or performing sexual acts on oneself. The example I can give is like a coach wear a sports pant without wearing an underwear, or wear the sports pant tightly, So why I mention this, because it's an easy example for this exposing oneself, where the coach can simply show their private part to the athletes indirectly during the training time. And then my last point of the in this slide is unwanted sexually explicit. It can come through the photos, emails, or text messages. So it's all about the social medias. We know that the social media is one of the thing we have to go through by every day. We can get the good news or bad news messages, we can text any of our friends, and so on. So for example in this point is like a sports coach try to text message to the athlete. He tried to text sexually, where he can where he can share the pictures, video taken of her during the training or competition, try to get her mind out of control and make sexual harassment too. And then the next slide is what can we do against sexual harassment. Okay, there are a few ways we can do against sexual harassment. First is live freely. Okay, we all have the right to live freely without being harassed, bullied, or discriminated. And then the second point is person may try talking to the offender and convey their messages regarding their unwanted behavior. And then we also must be like always stay informed about the current issues regarding the sexual harassment. And then the next point is policies and procedures regarding sexual harassment. So we must make sure to learn about the policies and procedures regarding sexual harassment in our, for example, in our school, university, or sports sector. The next point is try to document everything, like to help you remember the name of the offenders and the incidents. And similarly, make sure to save any evidences you get, which will help with your future complaints against the to the police stations. And then always try to get external information and advice from people who will help you if you decide to file a lawsuit. Okay, like you want to put a case on the harasser, so you must need a advice from the people or the lawyer, and so on. And also the last point is that never deal the matter alone, to try to get share with someone you trust to lighten your load, to lighten your stress about this matter. Next slide is what can we do if we witness sexual harassment. there are few ways also we can do if we witness the sexual harassment. First is get a safe placement for the people harassed. Okay, if you witness someone got harassed by harasser into the sexual harassment, you may be you able to give the person being harassed a chance to get a safe place or leave the situation. The second point is create a distraction, which means do what you can to interrupt the harassment. Okay, if you are watching that someone get harassed, just make a distraction, so distract those taking part in the harassment. Okay, second is do not draw their attention. Okay, if someone seems like they could become violent, please do not draw their attention, please. Okay, and then and then talk directly with the person who is being harassed. Okay, ask directly. Okay, ask directly if they are being harassed at their at the places like your sports place or working place and anything. Offer to accompany them anytime they have to meet with the harasser. And then third point is the refer to an authority. Okay, this is the safest way to intervene for both you and the person being harassed, maybe to bring an in authority figure. And then last but not least, enlist the help of a friend or another bystander. Okay, for your own safety, if you think you'll be able help your own, you can help. If you cannot help by your alone, like if the sexual harassment brings anything like a knife or anything, it's maybe good idea to enlist the help of a friend or another bystander. And then the next slide is how to stop or overcome sexual harassment. There are a few ways that can stop sexual harassment. First is incorporate training on harassment and discriminatory treatment in sports sector, like regular and ongoing training for employees, athletes, and the coaches. Provide refresher training on an annual or as needed basis. Okay, second is ensure the sector has a sexual harassment policy, as I mentioned before, where where the sports organization should publish a sexual harassment as sector policy and ensure all staff, students, athletes, and coaches are familiar with it. And then the third point is always raise awareness. Okay, where the most effective form of prevention is awareness. We know, like, if we want to do anything means we must aware in anything. Okay, so those who are aware of behaviors that can be interpreted as harassment are less likely to behave in that way and more likely to notice any form of harassment. Like they are ready, like they're aware. So, and then the fourth point is have clear harassment reporting procedures in sector. Okay, um, including for our students, athletes must feel comfortable reporting any behavior that makes them or other people's feel uncomfortable. And then my fifth point is have a dedicated person in place to review any allegations. Like we okay, for example, if I was the athlete, I can bring my parents together with me and watch the entire training to make sure me are safe from the sexual harassment. Okay, this is just an example. And then the sixth point is report any concerns immediately. Okay, if you feel someone in your sports team has behaved inappropriately towards you, or you have any concerns regarding, raise your concern immediately. Okay, your sports sector policy should highlight the importance of confidentially, so you can raise your concern without fearing any negative consequences that may happen to you and the coaches or managers like that. Seventh is try to hire a personal coach. A personal coach is which is means if you want to do anything means we hire a personal coach, right? For example, like you want to learn Mandarin. I'm an Indian. If I want to learn a Mandarin, I will hire a personal like a teacher to teach me. So this is the same too. So we can hire a personal coach with higher qualification where the parents can pay the money to them, and the safety is 100,000 percentage assured. Okay, you don't have to scared for anything. Okay, because the personal coach can come to your home and teach you at home also. All right. And then 8 is ask or request a female coach to train you. If you are a female, ask a female coach to train you. Okay, where they can feel fully safe with them in and out of the training place. The next slide is effects of sexual harassment. Okay, the sexual harassment can affect the emotionally, mental health, and physically. All right, the emotional uh, effects are such as fear, anger, shame, felt betrayal, violation, and loss of control. In mental health effects is high level stress, loss sleeping time, panic attacks, loss of motivation, and suicidal ideation. And then in physical effects, high level stress, headache, fatigue, sleep disturbances, and eating disorder. Then the next slide is about the law of sexual harassment in Malaysia, which is Section Act 1955. Okay, any unwanted conduct of a sexual nature, whether verbal or non-verbal, visual, gesture or physical, directed at a person which is offensive or humiliating or is a threat to his well-being. And then who can make a sexual harassment complaint in Malaysia? Section 81A of the EA 1995. Assaulted by an employee against another employee, sports coach against athletes, or sport coach against another opposite gender of sports coach. Then the next slide is a punishment for sexual harassment in Malaysia. In section 354, offense of molestation, maximum 10 years of fine or whipping or any two of such punishment. In section 355, offense of assault, maximum 2 years or fine or both. In section 504, offense of word, imprisonment, maximum 5 years or fine or both of it. In a conclusion, last but not least, sexual harassment could not stop that easily because it can happen within a second like that. Okay, below is our country's sexual harassment cases according to the years, and these statistics are based on cases reported to the Royal Malaysia Police, which is PDRM, okay, from years 2000 until 2015. That's all from me. Thank you so much.